Planning your Saturday night can be a bit of a bitch.
Saturday night is the loneliest night in the week.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Load up Toxic Radio every Saturday night for the heavy metal happy hour. With the one and only Fishman.
I know that, dude.
There will be interviews, ticket giveaways, a little bit of banter with Toxic Mike, and of course great metal from the 80s all the way through today. Starts at 7 p.m., runs until Fish says it's over.
Everyone get out!
Catch it only on Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic. Spring is here. After months of being inside, no, your promo is done. We are finally free to go outside once again.
It's about damn time.
Make sure to make Toxic Radio part of your fun with the free app. Whether it's mowing the lawn, a round of golf,
Oh, what the hell? Sorry.
bird watching, or even streaking. Whatever you're doing, make us your soundtrack. Spring is back. Make it toxic.
Enjoying all that Toxic Radio has to offer? Well, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be the first to find out about ticket giveaways, amazing guests, awesome contests, and Toxic Radio events. Just search Toxic Radio Live, all one word, and press that little button. Every time you do, someone here at Toxic Radio will get their wings.
Yay!
Well, not really. But we will get a warm, fuzzy feeling in our tummies. But then again, that just might be the beer. Anyway, like and follow us, and we will see you out there on the interwebs.
Welcome to show 33, Wire2Wire Sports. I'm your host, Gene Walzak. And to my right, I got the man, the myth, the legend, Scholastic Shally. Waving. Weird today. You know, we have people that listen only. To my left, I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cottrell. We're here on show 33, show Larry Bird or Kareem. You can pick it. Each week, we're going to give you a famous number for each show. We got a lot going on this week. We got the PGA Tour. We got to talk about that. Got to talk about Phil's win, Big 50. Was it the best win in a major ever? We got NBA playoffs going wild right now. Clippers down 0-2. We got the Knicks about to go down 0-2 at home. The Wizards are about to go down 0-2. I'm kidding. Then we're going to NHL playoffs. Somebody got swept that probably won their round. But we got a lot. We got a lot to go over. We're going to also debut our best sports venues bracket. That's going to start today. And we have NFL, talk about Julio Jones, where he's going to go, where we think he's going to go. Bunch of that stuff. Plus, you got to be kidding me. They're going to talk about some soccer, some kicky ball. But outside that, let's get started. NBA, PGA. Let's start with that. We did pretty good, Bill. Control, how'd you do on your picks?
Well, I had one guy who didn't even play. He
just
withdrew
quit.
like right before.
Who was your other pick?
Molinari, and then Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson. We're not gonna talk about it, but hey, it's all right.
We had a rough PGA.
It happens.
I had 3 guys in the top 10. Cashed out pretty well on the weekend. Shally had Koepka, man, 50-1 dog. Was in it the whole way, and just couldn't overcome Phil.
Couldn't overcome Phil, and Phil for the most part played well. He only had a couple, 2 or 3 really loose holes. Brooks didn't putt well. Brooks putts like he normally does on Sunday. He probably could have won. But
I think he started too slow Sunday.
I think you had those 2-shot swings at the beginning of the round. They were going back and forth, and then the 5th hole when Phil chipped in from the sand, that was kind of
unbelievable.
Yeah, that was
the coffin.
He's a very strong mental guy on the course. Why a lot of people, he reminds them of Tiger. He gets compared to him more so than a lot of other people. But Phil's one of those guys, man. If Phil's in it, the crowd is going to be behind Phil, no matter how popular you are. You're just not going to have that. You're not going to have that crowd behind you. And you had a lot of people that were still cheering when he did stuff. But Phil is just an absolute fan favorite in golf. He's just a lovable guy. I don't know if you follow him on social media. He's hysterical, and it's gotten more and more popular. And him and Tiger actually burying the hatchet a couple years ago has actually kind of helped that along as well, because you always had people that were kind of divided between the two of them. Now you can just root for both of them because they love each other now. So
yeah, the MASH kind of helped that a lot too.
I mean, they buried the hatchet before that. If you watched any of the behind the scenes for that, it was a couple years before that. It was actually when Tiger got hurt the one time. Phil was actually one of the first people to reach out to him, and that kind of started the dialogue. And they actually became kind of close. And they're definitely.
Can I be real about that though? I'd love rivalries in sports. Like, I like when they hate each other. Like Brooks and Bryson, we were just talking about that.
See, I will say this though. Here's the difference between the two. I agree with you. This whole thing that started the last 2 days is
hilarious.
Amazing. It's amazing. There was stuff that was put on right before I left to come here. Because I don't know if Brooks is going to play Dave Portnoy in that charity match, but he's playing him left-handed. So
he still wins.
Portnoy put a thing up on Twitter saying he messaged DeChambeau to be his caddy for right now, and then Brooks came right back with like this like old horrible picture of Portnoy when he was little. He's like, you should, like, he's got like a Jeff cap on and everything. He's like you two morons dress exactly the same.
Oh man.
So it's great. The thing with Phil and Tiger though, I don't think it was ever. I don't want to say it was super personal. They always respected each other. It was a huge rivalry. Like they would
lose the respect. I don't want that.
Yeah, Brooks and Bryce do not like each other on a personal level. They do not like each other.
I feel like golf needs some shit talking.
You get it?
Serious shit talking.
Brooks is popular because that is, other than being a very good golfer, he speaks his mind. You saw it with that viral clip. Like he does not care, and that is, again, it's one of those things. Like Tiger used to be that way. Like Tiger would say things that were super cocky, and people would be like, "Damn, like he really just said that." And Tiger didn't care. That's how Tiger felt, and most of the time he was right. Brooks is the same way. Like he pulls no punches. And it's really funny because if you look at Brooks, he doesn't talk a lot. Like he is actually like a very laid back guy, and whatever it is about Bryson. I mean, I know the history between the two, but they do not like each other at all.
Well, fill the fans in, bro. Not everybody knew the history. I thought it was funny as hell.
So if you watch a lot of golf, Bryson is like watching paint dry in terms of pace of play. He is extremely slow. Brooks is like the complete 180 opposite of that. Like if you hit your shot, by the time the camera gets on Brooks, like if you're in the same grouping, Brooks is over his ball, like ready to play. Brooks is extremely fast. So they got in trouble. They got in a big spat over that when pace of play became a real issue like 3 years ago. And then after that, Bryson made a comment, because if you look at Brooks is kind of like a stocky guy. He's bigger for a golfer. When Bryson started pumping up, he made a comment on social media about Brooks needs to get back in the gym. And Brooks responded with a picture of his trophy case saying, "My body's doing just fine. My 4 trophies right here speak for themselves." And that was before Bryson won one. And then just started from there. I mean, I think Brooks took it personally, and they do not like each other.
Well, that's beautiful. I love it. Rivalries in golf are amazing. Well, let's talk about Phil's big day. So the question came about was this the most impressive major win? You said in the last 15 years, and then you just went ever. You just went like...
Well, here's the thing. I know the one that stands out is obviously there's 2, and they're both Tiger. Tiger from the Masters 2 years ago. I 100% fully believe that Phil's is more impressive than that.
Okay.
The one
you're gonna shut down mine. Don't even do it.
I'm not going to shut it down. It's an argument. I think that's the one you could compare it to. Would be the 08 Open when his ACL was halfway torn. I still lean Phil because of his age and because of the course and who he was playing against.
Okay.
That was still in the middle of Tiger's prime. He was hurt. I get all that, but he was still the best golfer on the planet. Phil is not the best golfer on the planet. He's 50 years old, and it was on, just as hard a course. Course is pretty much washed out.
Oh, I agree with that. Control, what are your thoughts on it?
For me, the best win was Tiger 2 years ago. I just remember watching, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, the Reds on Sunday, and it was like, is Tiger really going to pull this off? Sure enough, he did. And I think for me at that point, before he won the Masters, people probably thought he's probably not going to win another major the rest of his career. maybe he wins one. It's not going to win at Augusta. And then he went on and won that one. And I remember the talk being, well, maybe he can, catch Jack for the majors. I don't think he catches him either, but I remember the conversation got brought back up when that happened, and that whole experience for me was top tier. Don't get me wrong, this is a major win for Phil, but I think Tiger's win at the Masters was a little bit more impressive.
See, my argument would be Tiger in 08. Like winning any tournament, winning at anything with a partially torn ACL, whatever. Like if you watched him on that course, man, he was just laboring, bro. You could see every shot he was taking, and the way your hips and legs move in golf. Have a torn ACL and still win a tournament versus the best players in the world. I don't know how we argue against that, but.
I'll tell you why it's not the Masters, and you're saying people didn't think he was going to win. That's a big misconception if you – I don't want to say you're a casual fan if you weren't following it. He won 2 tournaments
the year. He just called you a cash.
He won 2 tournaments the year prior to that, and then he also major. And then he won the Tour Championship 3 months before the Masters, which is literally the top 30 golfers of the year year. So him winning wasn't a huge surprise, and especially on that course –
well, yeah, because it was the course. Like, he's always – if he's playing there, he's got a shot because of the course.
That's why I don't think that even qualifies. It's not even as close. I think the crowd reaction, the end scene, is what people get hung up on, and it was amazing to see. Don't get me wrong. I don't think – it wasn't super out of left field for him to win that tournament that year. I think 08 is – in recent golf, 08 is the one you can make the argument for.
I have to make the argument for that. ACL tear, I cannot –
You can.
And listen, don't get me wrong. Like my uncle Gary is, shout out Gary Wells, like my godfather, but he's a left-handed golfer. He's golfed his entire life. Biggest Phil fan ever. Loves him. I mean, he's texted me all Sunday. You're watching history right now. You're watching history right now. And I was rooting for Phil. I texted you. I'm like, hey man, how much money did you put on Brooks?
Yeah.
I want to root for Phil at this point because I will never root for these guys to lose money unless I got money on the opposite way. But when he gave me the green light to root for Phil, I'm like, let's go. Let's go. I was rooting for Phil, but I still have to go Tiger. The ACL tear, partial, whatever. I know how I felt when I tore my ACL. Granted, mine was partial too, 95%, which is way more than partial, but my point is, it wasn't a full tear. I don't know how much Tiger's was a tear.
I mean, Tiger was in his early 30s then. I mean.
I was in my early 30s when I tore my ACL. I'm a professional athlete. I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
I had a 95% tear, which I'm sure Tiger's was less.
It was. I mean, again, I'm not taking anything away from Tiger's. It was also Torrey Pines, which he's won there, I think, like 10 times. I mean, that if you're going to say you're going to put him on a course after a layoff and there's a shot he has to win the tournament, if Augusta's won, Torrey's probably too. And again, Kiowa Island is a way tougher track than Torrey Pines. I mean, that course was brutal. There's always the people I see online. They're like, "Oh, I could break 100 on there." No, you can't. I promise you can't. If you played that course from the tees they played it from, I don't care. Unless you're a scratch golfer, if you're like a 12 handicap, you're shooting 130 on that course. If you played in the same conditions,
when you watch that, they were talking about how long that course was, how much they had to walk, how grueling it is to play 4 straight days there. Like. I get you. I follow. I'm not listen. I'm a cash. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm cool with being a casual.
Listen, I've been playing golf since I was 12, so obviously I have a stronger interest in it than a lot of people do. And a lot of people can't sit there and watch golf for 4 hours. I can. I love it.
I cannot.
If it's the Masters, I can.
I can follow it up. I can follow it on my phone for 3 and then watch the last hour.
I don't
even sniff Thursday. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Nope.
See, that's Augusta. I literally get happy Masters week. Like Thursday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I watch it all day, every day for 4 days straight. Like I'm not watching anything else. I watch it at work. I watch it when I get home. Like
I will say, I am the same way with that. Normally, though, any other golf tournament, I'm not. I watch on Sunday, but with the Masters, you got to watch Thursday through Sunday.
Masters, I'm every day. U.S. Open, I get pretty.
I follow Saturday and then Sunday, depending on what the situation is.
I love the U.S. Open. Players is always fun, just because of the 17th. But I'm not as gung-ho about that. I don't get into it as much. And the British Open is fun to watch if the weather's bad, but that's always tough because you got to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to watch it. I don't do that. So,
all right, well, we got a lot on the topic today. Let's get to the NBA. Playoffs are rolling right now. We got the Sixers, who hopefully they're closing out on a 2-0. I know they were up like 17 going into the fourth. We got a lot of series to talk about. The most dramatic series, like the series that has thrown the most people off is, the Clippers. The Clippers down 0-2 at home versus the Mavericks. A lot of people thought they threw a couple games to get that matchup.
They did. They did. I think it's kind of, I don't know if you could really argue it.
And now they're rolling into that, and they're really just, I don't know how else to put it for you. They're down 0-2. You give now all three of us picked the Clippers. You guys picked them in way less games than I did. I picked them in 7.
I picked them in 6. It wasn't way less.
I thought you guys both said 5.
No, I said 5.
Now.
Well, mine can't happen.
So now my question is, do you give the Clippers a chance after just last week picking them? Charles, start with you. You
got to give them. You got to give them a shot just because of who they have. Kawhi Leonard is different animal. Like you saw him drop 40 plus yesterday. I know it wasn't enough, but he has that in him, and that team is very talented. So you got to give them a shot. But everything that's going on in that series, just to me, like just watching it, I'm like, how can you not stop that? You got Ivica Zubac going into the pick and roll every single play. What it feels like, he's got to be the worst center on defense in the league right now. I mean, his defense is absolutely terrible. I don't even know how he gets on the court in this series. Then you got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, both what it seems like afraid to guard Luka. Like a Kawhi will guard him for a little stretch, and then next thing you know, Reggie Jackson's on him. Then Pat Bev's on him, and he's just giving all those guys buckets. It's like, come on, guys. What are you doing here? If you stop Luka, you got a shot to, get back in the series.
Do you put that on Kawhi and Paul George, or you put that on Tyronn Lue?
No, you put it on Kawhi or PG, because at a certain point, if Ty Lue was telling them guys like, hey, I don't want to, burn you guys out on defense, at a point it has to be, I don't care about all that. Put me on him. I'm stopping him.
Okay, see the problem with that?
See, I agree. I feel like if Kawhi or PG speak up in the huddle and go, I'm just guarding him, they're going to guard. Ty
Lue's not going to say, no, you're not.
Okay, here's your problem. Ready? Name the Clippers' third scorer. Especially in this series. No, but I follow that. So I think the reason Ty Lue is doing this, and is the same reason George Karl did it the wrong way with Gary Payton back when they wouldn't let Payton guard Jordan until like game 4, when Gary Payton just walked in his office like, I'm guarding him. That's it. But if you look at the Clippers, man, I don't think they have a third guy averaging 10 points a game. Like especially in this series, it's bad. There's no one else scoring on that team.
Well, if that's the case, Paul George isn't lighting it up, so throw him on.
I mean, he dropped 20, 40 other night. I think he's averaging 23 and a half.
I mean, yeah, but he's not shooting great is what I mean. Like, if he's not going to – Kawhi put up 40 last night, and they still lost. So and
that's the point.
If Paul George isn't going to put up 30, stick him on Luka, and we'll figure out the rest. Kawhi will figure out on offense.
They just can't score. So you're going to have him foul around Luka and then not score. They kept trying to put Marcus Morris on him.
But if they play defense, though, you don't have to score 120 points.
I get you. I follow. I put that really on Tyronn Lue. Like, for you to have that much talent, and like the worst part is, did you see the tweet that came out today where the guy said, "Oh, and this was Montrezl Harrell's fault," and Montrezl liked it and then retweeted it. And
that's a good point. I don't think the roster's terrible, but it is a team with a lot of names with no chemistry. That's a great point.
The pod guys.
Brian said the roster is terrible. They're just names with no chemistry. I don't think the roster's terrible. I think they have great players. They just have no chemistry. That's
Rondo's accomplished in the playoffs. Marcus Morris accomplished in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Paul George is obviously accomplished in the regular season. And Kawhi Leonard's accomplished in the playoffs. I think that roster is clearly better than the Toronto Raptors roster that won the whole thing.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we want to be honest about it, I just think it's a lot to do with their chemistry, which I agree with, and the fact that I just don't know if they're like the, a bunch of Chiefs, not enough Indians.
I mean that takes you back to the Toronto point. I mean, you had Kawhi, and then you had a bunch of guys. I mean, you had Kyle Lowry, but you had a bunch of guys that played the role, and they played it well, and that matters in the NBA. I mean, it's chemistry when you get. Listen, you're not going to blow everybody out in the playoffs by 10, 15 points every game. Like, you have to be able to play with your teammates in a 2-point game and know where they're going to go and have that chemistry and have that trust and that belief. I do kind of agree with that. I think they have talent. I think their roster is well put together, but it's kind of like 5 guys doing 5 different things on the court right now. They're not playing as a team, and Luka's just is lightning in a bottle right now, man. I mean,
But he was last year when they played. Same thing. And like I seen this coming. I said it.
Yeah.
This is going to be an ugly series.
Yep.
And he's better, and he looks better this year than he did last year. And last year he didn't have Porzingis. And I'll tell you right now, another player who's playing out of his damn mind
Tim
is
Hardaway Jr.
Hardaway, yes, playing out of his mind,
Michigan.
shooting the lights out right now. All right, so Brooklyn and Philadelphia have handled serve. We don't have to really talk about them.
Those series are over.
Okay,
So wait.
Yeah.
So do you think the Clippers make it out? I mean, we didn't really.
I said Clippers in 7. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
I do not.
Now,
I don't either.
if Dallas can win 2 games in LA, I think the Clippers can win 2 games in Dallas.
It's a stupid stat to say, but it matters, and I use it all the time. They have to win 4 or 5, and I just don't think that's going to happen. I think if you said they had to win 4 or 5 and the first 2 games were in Dallas, I would like my chances better. I don't think they're going to win. They have to win. They have to win 2 or 3 in Dallas. That's just a tough hill to climb with the way they've played the first 2 games. Something would have to be drastically different when they play tomorrow night.
I think that someone comes out and says, I'm guarding Luka. And I think that person's going to be Kawhi.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm here for it. I want to see it.
At this point, how I feel about the Clippers is I'm not going to say I like watching them play. I like the idea of watching them play just because of how talented their roster is.
Right.
I want to see the best players, later on in the
Yes.
playoffs. But with that said, they ducked, their first round matchup against, they would have played the Blazers and then they would have saw Lakers in the second round or the Suns in the second round. They ducked that to get the lower seed to face the Mavs, and now
And they went to Utah. That's what they wanted. They went Mavs, Utah.
Exactly. So now they basically are caught with their foot in their mouth because Luka and company is giving them all
That's
they
why
can
you
handle.
don't do that.
And that is
That's why you don't
exactly
duck
why you
people.
don't do that, and that is exactly why I want them to lose. And at this point, I hope they get swept.
I mean, it would be a storyline. Kawhi would be gone.
Team is blown
Ty
up.
Lue would be fired.
Paul George is gone. Like those
Paul
guys
George
are
can't
only
be gone.
Aren't
He's
they only on
locked
2
in.
year? I thought they
Nope.
were only on 2-year deals.
Paul George
No,
signed a
Paul-
max
Paul-
for
Paul's
Oklahoma
that
City,
extension, yeah.
and then got traded.
Oh yeah,
for
you're
him.
right. You're right.
So that series, let's get that. I got a bunch of series. I don't want to stay too long on that. Now, like I said, the Sixers, Brooklyn, we don't have to talk about.
No, that Brooklyn-Boston
I-
series is going to get ugly.
Don't want to really talk that much about Utah, Memphis because without
Why?
seeing Spider, because Spider comes back tonight, and I think the Utah's
Utah's
You
going to
still
win.
you got to talk about it though.
Utah's
Okay.
going to win by 15.
I
Like
think
the whole
Utah-
series in general, you got to talk about.
I
They're
think
down
the series.
1-0.
I think the series ends 4-2 at best for Memphis.
I agree with Gene.
Like I think Utah wins the series 4-2 at worst.
I think it's one of those situations where if you're going to steal a game, it's always game 1. And then again, you're they didn't have their best player. I think if he comes back tonight, and he's healthy and he's regular Spider. I don't think
That's
it's
the
game
one
tonight.
thing, though. Like, I just don't know how healthy he can be. I mean, it seems like there's a disconnect between those two because Utah obviously held him out of game 1, and then it came out that he was mad about it afterwards and that he wanted to play. So is it a case where Utah really thinks that he's not ready to come back and he's just like, it's the playoff times, or
they're looking past
what's
Memphis.
going on?
They're looking past Memphis. That's what they're doing.
He was out for a while. He got hurt.
He got
hurt
hurt.
like right after LeBron did. Like
I know, and he said, dude, he was pissed off they wouldn't let him
Yeah.
play.
Obviously,
I think
yeah.
it's
I mean,
fine.
they lost the game, so of course he's going to be mad they didn't let him play.
Hackney said, respect Ja. Dude, you have no idea how much I respect Ja. It's just the rest of the roster.
Gene is the
Dylan-
biggest jaw
Dylan
guy
Brooks
ever.
He's a gamer too, though.
Dylan Brooks playing out of his mind right now.
Played out of his mind.
He's a gamer, though. Dylan Brooks has always been a guy, since his Oregon days, he's been a guy who shows up when the games are the biggest. I'm not saying he's a great player by any means, but
but he's
in the
not-
big games, he's going to show up.
He's not what he is right now, though.
No,
on a
no,
night- on a
no.
nightly
He's
basis.
not
He's not that.
right now.
But he's definitely he shows up to the big games for sure.
I just listen. Until I see them lose a game with Spider, I just can't see that Jazz team losing 3 more games to Memphis. I don't look at it as a series. I think tonight's the easy. Like guys, listen. If you had $100,000 in your bank and you put $100,000 in the Utah money line, you're gonna win yourself $1,000, $2,000, whatever the weird. But there's
be like-
no way they lose tonight.
20 grand. I think.
Zero
Sorry.
chance.
No, I agree. Again, if Spider plays tonight and plays well and looks good, and they still lose tonight, then maybe it's a different story.
Correct.
I think they win easy.
You know
I
what
think
bothers us is that we're a once a week show,
I know.
so we can't comment on it after tonight. But we've only seen one game, so like every other series, we've seen 2. Everyone.
If we hit all these parlays all the time, we could afford to do more than one show.
I'm down. Let's hit a $100,000 one. All right, so
Good luck.
what do you think the Jazz series ends in?
Probably ends in 6. I'll go with the Jazz in 6. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Spider. I think they still win the series even if he's not fully healthy, but Jazz, he's going to play his heart out. He's going to win some games. So I'll go Jazz in 6.
I love Ja.
I'll go Jazz in 6.
What do you got?
I'm sticking with 5. I think
4 in a row.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'll say 6 and give Ja one more. I don't like it. I don't feel good about it.
I think he wins one in Memphis.
Yeah, I think that's possible. And if they won one, it would be game 4 because I don't see Utah going down again in the series. So the series I really wanted to get into are ones that just caught me off guard. Where do you want to go next? You want to go Suns Lakers? You want to go Bucks Heat?
Bucks Heat.
Yeah, I knew that. That series caught me off guard. I did not expect the Heat to get blown out. First game 1. Listen, we could look at it one of 2 ways. I seen it one way. Bill's seen it another way.
Yeah.
Bill's seen it where Milwaukee didn't shoot well and still won the game. I seen it where Jimmy didn't play well and the Heat only lost the game by 2.
Agreed.
So going into game 2, I was like, all right, I like the Heat. And that first quarter, the Bucks shot out of their mind.
Yep.
I've never seen a team shoot better to start a quarter. They almost scored 50 on them in the first.
Yeah, I mean, they're up by, I think they're up by like
They're up 28.
20. I was it was either 28 or 30 in some point in the second quarter. Like it is.
They're 2-point dogs at home, Miami, for game 3.
I think Miami will steal a game at home. I do think. Again, I don't know. I don't know how much of it last year was them just getting hot at the right time because I do like their roster.
Petey called them bubble frauds.
I don't call him a fraud, but
I don't agree with that
it's
either.
not a fraud, but I mean, there's substance to what he's saying, though. The bubble was a unique thing, man. It was totally different than anything any of them ever done before.
It was.
You know the difference,
and I think it affected some players and some teams way better than others.
Do you know what I really think that happened in the bubble that a lot of people just can't? I think shooters shot way better in the bubble. Like, I think people that shot the ball, like shoot the ball from range, like Devin Booker, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero,
Yeah.
I think they shot better in the bubble.
The other thing, though, too, with Miami is that they were also healthy in the bubble. Right now, they're really showing that they aren't that healthy. Like, Tyler Hero's barely even getting minutes. Like, in game 2, he didn't even see time till it was, garbage time in the fourth.
Yeah,
so
his foot is messed up. And then, again, you have
Gorn, who's got his typical
Gorn's always just banged up
Yep.
and sore. He's never 100%. And as much as I hate to say it, Tyler and Duncan have regressed. Those two guys played.
I can't say Duncan digressed.
Yeah, I was gonna say Duncan's
been this all year.
somewhat- Yeah,
Duncan's the
year.
only player, one of 5 players in the NBA to start all 72 games.
I
gotta
get
give
all
him credit
that,
for
but they didn't have a choice because Jimmy missed a bunch of time this year. Gorn's been out all year. Tyler Hero's been hurt. He had to play, but he went through that. He went through that one slump where he was shooting 15% for 3-point for like a month. Like he couldn't hit anything.
Every shooter goes through a slump like that.
Okay.
Steph Curry went through a slump like that.
Okay, my point is last year he didn't have that. He shot 42% or whatever it was, and then the bubble. Like I don't want to call them frauds. I think it's a very fair statement to say they overachieved last year.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. No. I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're seeing now. And I think Milwaukee is just I don't think you see it in raw numbers per se, which is what you said last week, and I think that's true. I think they're a better team this year than they were last year, though.
I think I didn't give them enough credit for the PJ Tucker signing. So not saying that it's that's a huge X factor piece, but the way they can play now defensively when they have PJ, Giannis, and Drew Holiday all on the court at the same time, and they can essentially switch pretty much every position.
Yeah,
that's important,
but
and it's really helped them out.
You guys both have watched basketball a ton. You always have the one team that makes a signing like the PJ Tucker one that pays way bigger dividends than you think it's going to. And again, I said at the beginning of the year, I thought the Drew Holiday thing was going to be very good for them, and it's paid off. He's been very good for that team. And like you said, Tucker allows them to match up pretty much across the board however they want to on the defensive end.
Yep.
And
here's
that's
where I'll argue with you.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessary. I said this to you last week. I'll say it to you again. I don't think Drew Holiday has been I think I think there's a lot more other pieces that make that team better. You know what I point to as more than Drew Holiday? Like the emergence of what Dante DiVincenzo has been this year versus what he was last year. His growth. Like looking at even Pat Connaughton coming in off the bench shooting the lights out.
He doesn't even really play though that much.
Played last night.
Not he's not. I mean, his minutes have gone down compared to last year. I get what you're saying. I think part of that too, to your point, is those guys just progressing and getting better since last year.
Yeah, progressing. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think Drew gives them intangibles. Again, if you you even brought up, you're like the record's worse, and I agree with all that. The East is definitely better this year than it was last year. But Drew does give them a bona fide third scorer. Is he going to score 30? No, like something crazy would have to happen for that. But he's going to give you 18. He's going to give you good defense, and he's a good assist guy. He's perfect for that
team. And what they lost was Eric Bledsoe.
Correct.
Eric Bledsoe was giving you about 18, maybe 20, 25, and Drew's going to give you pretty much that too, and he's going to give you better defense.
Correct. And he's more efficient than Eric Bledsoe.
Yep. Agreed.
And he's also not going to be a mental midget like Eric Bledsoe was.
How about
do you remember the series where Terry Rozier was just in Eric Bledsoe's head?
Scary Terry.
Oh my God, bro! You let a backup point guard get in your head that bad.
Cleveland guy.
That was embarrassing. Guys, let's hear it on the wire line. I just feel like it's just Petey. I want to hear you guys' opinions on the series so far.
I'm glad Petey got rained out tonight so he can listen to the show.
I love Petey. Thank you. Shout out to Petey for being so loyal on the show, him and Hack. Okay, so let's get into Suns-Lakers. Suns win game 1.
It's been a wild series for 2 games.
Yeah. Lakers win game 2. It's obvious. So Chris Paul, they diagnosed him with a stinger. He has a stinger. So hopefully with that stinger, with a couple days more rest, he should be good to go by game 3 or 4.
When do they play again?
Tomorrow.
See, I think tomorrow is the issue. I think game 4, he'll be back to Chris Paul.
If he's not, they might as well just sit him for game 3 completely and not even have him.
I almost agree.
Yeah, I just feel like you can tell the difference of that team's attitude when he's not on the court.
I agree, but it was also
he didn't play the fourth at all.
Very, very noticeable his level of play.
Yeah. Right.
Last week or last.
But he didn't play
game.
the fourth at all, and that's when they got pulled away on.
And at a certain point, I'm not saying that the Lakers are going to just leave him wide open for shots because that's still Chris Paul, but there's a certain point where the Lakers are going to play him differently, and they're going to force him to do stuff that he's not comfortable doing.
Did you see how bad his shot looked after the shoulder?
Yeah.
It looked really awkward and weird.
There was a couple times where it was like, okay, like I know you're not normal, but it seems like you might be able to do a little something. Like he had a little screen where he hit the floater, then he hit a mid-range jump shot. And I'm like, all right, mate, I know you're not going to give me your normal stuff, but maybe you can be feasible. Maybe you're going to be better than Cameron Payne, but Cameron Payne's played really well, and I'm not saying that that's your replacement. You can't replace Chris Paul's efficiency and his numbers, but right now, Cameron Payne's playing well, and they can win if Cameron Payne keeps playing like that. They can win games if Cameron Payne keeps playing like that.
They're not going to win games versus that Lakers team.
They
without
don't
Chris
win.
Paul.
Yeah, I, as much as I don't want to feed the Gene Chris Paul ego, they're not winning that series if he's not.
No. I don't.
They're not winning games. They're not winning another game unless Chris Paul's.
I could see
back
Booker
to Chris
going
Paul.
Booker going wild for 40.
Maybe in game 5.
Yeah.
In Phoenix.
Listen, I mean,
they're not winning either game at the Staples Center.
The flip side of this is as well is the Lakers aren't playing well either. So I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that the Suns can't steal a game without Paul.
They're not. They're not shooting well. I think the offense looks. I hate the way the Lakers play offense, but their offense doesn't look bad. They just can't hit any shots. Like they're missing wide open shots.
Well, Phoenix plays good
See
defense
Bron
too.
and who is it? Caldwell Pope's face.
Telling him
shoot
like
the ball.
I want you to shoot it.
I want you to shoot. Like he
yeah.
gets it, bro. I hate LeBron right now. Like he's on my damn nerves, but he gets it. He knows how to win championships. He knows how to get other people involved. Like he knows how to win basketball games. And like for all the times he pisses me off, I still respect the hell out of him. Like we were watching that game, the bubble game, and I'm like yelling at him for being a crybaby, a little punk, laying on the ground like he's dead. And then he hits that 3, and what I say? Oh my God, that was a hell of a shot. I give him his respect where it's due. Just pisses me off the way he plays basketball.
Yeah, I won't go out of my way or make anything up to not respect him. I mean, and again, I don't think he gets enough credit. I think he gets too much flack for stuff. He does a lot of stuff off the court that he doesn't even get credit for.
But he's an amazing human being.
Agreed.
It's the shit on the court that pisses me off.
I agree.
Like, he's an amazing person.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a weird last couple months.
Yeah,
but,
his Twitter's definitely.
Yeah, I'm again. He's a great player. I mean, we're not going to get in the argument, but wherever you want to put him, he's somewhere in the top 5. Some people have him 1. I mean, but he's that guy.
Yeah, he's no lower than
yes, correct.
4 on anybody's list.
Agreed. He is.
I don't know how you can put 3 over him. I could put 2, if that. I can make an argument for Michael and Wilt.
But if you
making an argument,
I mean,
for?
if you got your people who can argue Kareem, or if you're going to argue Wilt, you can argue Kareem, and then
Kareem
if you argue
sure.
Jordan, I don't agree with it, but I can see the argument, and I know the arguments have been made. So
I get it.
I mean, those you that, and then you throw Kobe in the mix. I think those are usually the 4 you'll argue. They'll get arguments with.
I had Lakers in 5 before the series started. I said that last week.
I also said that last week.
I don't remember what I said.
You said Lakers in 6.
No, you said. Did you say Lakers in 6?
He did.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think you said Lakers in 6
check
too.
tape.
I said Lakers in 5.
I'm pretty sure you said 6.
No, because
I said
you
5.
said no. Listen to me. I'm gonna give you. I have written down.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure you said 6.
We'll find out right now. I have written down Lakers in 6. You're correct.
I know.
All right, listen, I have my notes here.
Asshole.
I had Heat in 6, Clippers in 7, Blazers in 6, Knicks in 5. Which Knicks in 5 is wrong.
No,
I also had Knicks in 5.
Knicks are up by 1.
Oh,
That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
Randall probably doesn't have 25. Scumbag.
How many points did you need JoJo to get?
He didn't get it.
22.
He didn't get it. He just
22.
stayed.
Oh.
He didn't go back in the game. Exactly what we talked about for the game. It is what it is.
Welcome to my pain.
Blazers Nuggets last one.
Oh,
Sean
boy.
Pye just made. Sean, listen. Can you put that up there, please? I need everybody to say it.
Who?
Sean Pye.
Oh, okay.
Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Kobe, Bron. You're just a hater. I don't mean to say that in the wrong way. Bro, I love Kobe. I do.
Listen.
Stop.
Let's not even.
I don't agree with it, but there's enough things that have happened that you could make that argument. Again, I don't agree with it, and I don't think it's right. If you want to sit there and bring out obscure crap and bring up numbers and everything, you can make that argument.
I don't like the whole.
You can't
Wilt,
make the Kobe
the
argument.
whole Wilt thing.
you.
The whole Wilt argument. The man won 3 championships and was the biggest.
So
man
it's
on the
just
court all the time.
championships?
No, it's not just championships. Obviously,
Wilt
not.
Statistically would be number 1 overall if it wasn't about championships.
But he doesn't even have the most points ever. He's not.
He didn't play as much. As
I understand
Kareem did.
that, but you have that also factors
He had the
into
highest
it.
points
that
per game.
factors into it.
He had the
though.
highest points per game in a season. He had the
I understand.
highest assists
He
per
averaged
game in a
50
season.
points in a game.
I
or for a
understand.
season.
Yeah.
But you would think
He had
that
the
if
highest
you're,
rebounds
you
per
would
game
think
in a
that if you're
season.
doing that, then you're winning championships year in and year out.
The problem was he went against a ridiculous Celtics roster
Yeah.
in which they had Bill Russell and then 3 other guys that were really good.
Yeah.
Can't do it himself.
I understand.
Wilt changed basketball
team
too.
sport.
They
Yes,
really
100 they changed the lane.
They changed the rules in basketball.
They
Wilt
also
changed the
lane
rules.
also-
because you couldn't stop
They also
him.
changed rules for Kareem too, the whole dunking in college basketball.
I'm talking about pro
Come
basketball.
on, NBA.
I understand. I'm
If
just saying Kareem
if
was
you start
also.
factoring in college, Kareem is going to be really difficult to beat.
It's fair.
All
Very
right.
fair.
Yeah, well, that's different.
Agreed.
So
Let's not have that conversation.
let's not. 2 more series to get into, and I just want to kind of get your opinion on them real quick. Is Portland versus Denver? I said, just get my notes again because I make sure.
You said Blazers in 6.
Blazers in 6. I stick by that. I still like Blazers in 6.
Me too.
I think I took Denver in 7.
You did.
Yeah.
Ballsy. He loves Denver. Loves Aaron Gordon, bro. He's the
loves
biggest Aaron Gordon.
He loves
Listen.
everything about Denver. He loves the Broncos. He
I got
loves
flack
the-
for that.
The Nuggets.
What did
He did it in the second half.
Yeah,
he definitely
That's all I'm
guarded Dame in
saying.
the second. He definitely guarded
If you
Dame in the
two
second half.
weren't arguing about damn Chris Paul and Dame all day, I was going to sneak that in, but it was just going to get glossed over.
No. Bro, I give you your roses. Aaron Gordon went on Dame's second half of game 2. I mean, they went 6 quarters before they did it, but you did get fly. Listen, if Mike Malone would have figured that out as fast as Shoutcross did, we would have been in good shape.
I mean, at that point,
Call me
though,
Denver.
Dame
Call me.
had 32 in the first half, so he was probably like, who can we stick on this
You
guy?
gotta do something.
Yeah.
Aaron's like, I think I can do it.
I still like the Blazers in 6.
I do too.
You still like Denver in 7?
I do. I'm pretty sure I said this about that series that I wouldn't be surprised if you guys were right. That is the one I was really unsure about. I could see that series going either way. I think that's probably going to end up being the best. I guess we'll see how the Lakers Suns plays out, but that's probably going to be the best first round series overall when it's all said and done.
I think that what you have to look at is the Knicks Hawks is the best series overall right now. Because the first game was unbelievable.
I'll give you.
Did you watch the game?
I did.
That game was incredible.
I'll give you
closest talent for talent.
I don't think
it's entertaining as hell.
I understand, but I know where Bill's going. Like watching Dame drop 7 threes in the quarter, or Nikola dropping 35-point triple doubles. Like you're gonna lean towards seeing the stars.
Yeah,
play.
like I agree with you. Like if I was home right now, I'd be watching
100%
the Knicks Hawks. But I think the quality of play is going to be better overall in the Portland Denver series.
That's fair. They're both better teams.
The one thing I hate about that series is Yusuf Nurkic just that too. Nurkic is playing soft. Like I don't know what is going on with him. He's playing extremely soft. I didn't think he'd have that much of a problem with Joker. I understand Joker's great, but
MVP of the league.
I understand, but you're getting blown by.
Nurkic would have a problem with the MVP.
I thought he'd have a problem. I didn't think he was going to get blown by every single time. Like
kind of surprised.
Nikola
has. Actually.
It surprised you?
I said no. It's surprising me that's your take. Actually, that was one of the reasons. Like I figured.
No, I knew Nikola had the advantage. I
Joker was
thought he'd be dominant.
Whatever he wanted to do every game.
I thought he'd be dominant. I didn't think he was going to be blown by him from the 3-point line to the rim.
It's a different animal, man.
So Knicks Hawks. What do you guys think there?
I mean, again, I thought they were kind of dead.
I love Shally's again. Shally says again more than any word. English again.
Listen,
Listen.
I thought they were going to lose tonight. I was just praying they were. I thought they were praying they were going to cover what I took them in my parlay, but now they're up 1. So I think you're going to get a lot of that. I think they're both teams that have very similar strengths and weaknesses. Kind of like a matchup makes fights kind of thing. I think that's kind of what you get with that series. Both teams play good defense.
No, they don't. Atlanta does not play good defense. They shoot the damn lights out.
If you go by ratings and stuff, they do.
Bro, Trae Young is a defensive nightmare issue.
Well, I agree, but when he scores 29 or 30 every night, it kind of wipes it out.
I agree. I just don't think the Hawks play good defense.
Statistically, I think they do. I think they're like towards the top 10. I know
the Knicks
were like third, I think.
Find out.
Third, fourth, something like that.
I love it. Let's find out. Team defense.
Let's defense.
Go. I'll go over 13.
All right.
Over 13.
Let's see. This is just.
If I had a guess, I'd say 17.
Regular season.
Yeah.
Atlanta's at 11.
Boom.
I was close. I said 13. 13 was my over/under. I did say 17 though.
This is weird.
11's still not good, but what's the next 3?
It's the top third of the league, and I mean,
almost.
Some of those are. I mean, some of those ratings you're probably separated by like a point too.
Oh, these are advanced stats though.
Well, I mean,
advanced stats.
All right, let's just agree they don't play terrible defense and move on.
I still have the Knicks win the series. They win tonight. I think they win the series.
I took the Knicks. I agree. I think they win. I
just think go 7 now.
Did we both take them at 6?
I had 5.
Bro. I also took them at 5.
I'll tell you why I took them at 5.
The hell you two were thinking.
Well, hold on.
I thought they won both games in New York. Steal one in Atlanta, then go back to the Garden and win.
I hate New York, but it's fun. It's fun to see.
They play really good defense. I think their defense. I thought their defense would transition very well into the playoffs.
I agree.
It hasn't.
Listen, Trae Young's one of the, you called him earlier. He's the first kind of baby Steph. I mean, he has that ability if he goes off to just take over a game.
There's 3 guys that you have to worry about as soon as they cross half court. Steph, Dame, and Trae Young. As soon as they cross half court, they can shoot from the damn logo.
Yeah, agreed.
Dude, the 3-pointers Dame Lillard hit the other night from the middle of the logo with 21 seconds left on the shot clock. It wasn't he just walked across yeah, I'm gonna hit this.
Luka would like a word.
Yeah, Luka would be 4. That's fair.
I feel like he's a distant 4th, though.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But, I mean, some of the shots he hit against the Clippers.
He had to find a reason to add one on. I couldn't have just spit off a fucking stat.
I know. Luka slowly turned into one of my he's climbing the ranks of one of my favorite players to watch.
Oh, he's
so much fun to watch.
Yeah, he's can't
so
miss.
fun
I
to
mean,
watch.
Yeah.
I think they did themselves a disservice by getting Jay Rich. I really do.
No, I think he's
glad they did it.
I think he's been a good piece for them.
I don't.
What?
think he's been a good piece for them.
He's
I
a
think
bigger,
Maxey
he's a,
Cle-
he's
I
a
think
bigger disappointment there than he was here.
Yeah, I think Maxey Kleber. I think that Hardaway.
And that's actually the reason why it's kind of even been a bigger mistake because he's come out of nowhere. He's playing. Kleber's playing almost as many minutes as Jay Rich is.
Well, different positions, but the
I know,
Maxey
but-
Kleber thing, I got to give him credit, man. He got
plays-
friggin' destroyed by Kawhi.
Yeah.
They all stood over him and talked shit to him, and then he would proceed to go 6 for 7 the rest of the game.
Yep.
Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And he said after the game, yeah, it was personal.
Yeah.
I love the hate. I love it.
You
Give me
can't-
more of that shit.
You can't be that level of an athlete and not take stuff personal and not have that chip on your shoulder. If you don't have that drive, you're not going to be a good professional athlete.
And I'm sure Rick's made it very personal. Like, hey, these guys, picked over everybody to get to you. Like, they wanted to play
hell
you
yeah.
first round.
Hell yeah.
Like, so I know this is personal for all of them.
I don't know why you
Rick
want to play
Carlisle's a good
Dallas
coach.
instead of Portland.
I don't know either. I have no idea.
It is what it is.
Especially
All right,
after last
so
year.
finish the Knicks Hawks for me. You got him in what now? Update.
I took him originally at 6. I'll stay there.
Okay, and you're going 7 now.
I'm going to go 7.
I'm gonna go 7 too. We got NHL playoffs. We got a lot more to get into. We got to stop, dude. Listen, NBA is gonna be great. It's gonna be every week going forward because the playoffs are fire. But NHL playoffs are fire too. 6 overtime games. Great first series.
I just made my night.
What?
The Pittsburgh Penguins have been eliminated.
It's beautiful.
Deuces. Get
Guys,
out.
listen, I couldn't be more wrong about that. I said the Islanders were done,
So did I.
and I was wrong.
I said right
And I'll be
before-
good with that. I'm good with that. I love being wrong with the Penguins going home.
Agreed. 100% agree. That's about as well as you can say it. And I said right before we went on air.
Lightning end the game, end the series tonight, right?
Yeah, they're up 2-0.
Good.
You would have had a really hard time convincing me anything about the Islanders with the way they backed into
Didn't
the
they go
playoffs.
2-7?
They were 2-7, something like that. Their last 10 going in. They were not playing well. Not playing well at all. They were a little banged up. But hey, whatever.
I called that Boston over Washington series, bro.
Me too.
Listen, you got that one dead spot on. Ovechkin was definitely more banged up than they let on. I mean, he was almost a non-factor in the series. He just did not. He couldn't skate. So whatever it was with his foot or his ankle is way worse than what they let on.
Ovi. Another thing, just go over. Edmonton got swept. Give me your thoughts on that, boys.
That is the shocker of the first round. I hate to say this, but somebody, actually might have been Melrose, somebody said it, called him, he's starting to turn into the Mike Trout of the NHL, and that's sad because I don't want to see that. They were just flat, man. Winnipeg was one of those teams again. Like a lot of people were really high on them going into the season, and they kind of fell real flat in the middle of the season. They kind of backed into the playoffs too. I mean, they made it just because the rest of the Canadian teams were just awful. I think they had the lowest point total of any of the playoff teams getting in. But they have guys that can score, and then they have Hellebuchuk in goal, and he's getting back to where he was 2 years ago when he won the Vezina. He stole a couple games for him, and they, for the most part, they contain McDavid. So
That's actually interesting. That's a very interesting comparison, calling them the Trout of hockey.
It's way too early for that.
It is. No, it is for sure.
But I heard it, and I was like, there's relevance to it.
But to their defense, I guess you could say, lost 3 overtime games. It wasn't like they were just outclassed every game. I get it. You got to win one of them.
Yeah, you
it's
got
the
to bring the
playoffs.
will. You have to have the will to win those overtime
Of course,
games, bro.
I 100% understand that. But
That is why
overtime.
Tell me, man,
Tough animal.
You'll be really hard pressed to convince me of anything that's better than overtime hockey in the playoffs.
Oh, man.
Dude,
I'll tell you right now, I still remember staying up to 2 a.m. watching that 6 overtime game.
Yep.
Keith Primo, bro.
I remember where I was living at the time. We kind of knew. We went out, I think, between the 4th and the 5th, and the apartment complex I was living in, we could see there were so many lights on. Like, we knew so many people were still up watching that game. And I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning when they scored that goal, like, we had our windows open, and you literally heard everybody start cheering. There was an air horn going off 4 o'clock. It's one of the coolest, like, hockey things I've ever experienced. Playoff hockey is amazing, and I'm kind of like how you guys are with basketball. I love watching. I actually truly look forward to the NBA playoffs because I don't like watching the regular season that much. I watch the Sixers a lot, obviously.
Yeah, you're a Kevin Mooney fan.
Yeah.
Kevin Mooney watches every game in the NBA playoffs, hates the regular season.
Yeah. I'm not that bad, but I'm the opposite with hockey. Like if I come home at night from going out or having softball or something, and I come on and there's a 10:30 hockey game on, no matter who it is, it's a playoff game, I'm gonna sit down and watch it.
Damn right.
It is there. I love the Super Bowl. I love the World Series just because I'm such a diehard baseball fan. But in a playoff atmosphere and the way that they're formatted and everything, there is nothing better than the Stanley Cup playoffs for me.
So many things can change way quicker, which is why the NHL playoffs. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the NHL playoffs is the best. Not the best playoffs, but it's just so exciting when you're watching those games. Like I've never, ever, ever been on like the edge of my seat more than watching NHL playoffs.
I agree.
It throws me right on the edge of my seat.
You can't not get engrossed in the NHL playoffs.
You think the Golden Knights close it out tonight?
I hope so because I took them.
Yeah,
I do.
Golden Knights Wild.
I do. The Wild really hot at the end of the season. I think they just got. I don't want to say they got screwed. They just got a bad draw in the first round against Vegas. Vegas' defense is they're just really good. They're really good, and they have 3 lines that can score. They're going to be tough out. That Vegas Colorado series, if that's what we get, is just going to be. I'm telling you, if you're home and it's on, watch it because it's going to be fire.
If that happens, I'm assuming you're going with Colorado.
Colorado is my pick to win the whole thing, so I will stick with them. But that series, if that series doesn't go 6 or 7, I would be extremely shocked, like jaw-dropping shocked.
And then the last 2 series I want to go over is the Maple Leafs close out Canadians tomorrow. No doubt, right?
That's at home, I believe.
It's in Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah. So they lost the first game. Carey Price stole them a game, which is what Carey Price does.
Great goalie.
Great goalie. He needs to get out of Montreal, actually. But
I think everybody needs to get out of Montreal. I'm just kidding.
He stole them a game. He's kept them in a couple games, but they got their scoring going again. They're that top line with Nylander and Matthews is they're too hard to handle. And they won 3 straight, and I believe they close it out tomorrow.
Close it out tomorrow, Toronto.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the last series, which I think has been a shocking series and one of the most entertaining series, is you got to shout out to Nashville Predators, bro. They're playing great hockey, bro.
Thought they were done.
Yes, I did.
Thought you could stick a
3-2,
fork
and they got
in
a game at home. 3-2, and they got a game at home. I don't think they're going to win tomorrow. I think Carolina closes it out too.
I don't think they win.
But you got to shout out Nashville for making that series a series.
Bridgestone is a very tough place to go play. Smashville. I actually think Nashville wins tomorrow night. I think it goes back to Game 7. I think Carolina wins though. Carolina's a very good, solid, deep team. Nashville's playing out of their minds. I think that goes 7.
Did you see Taylor Lewan was at one of the games and he was going crazy?
He's a lunatic. I mean, he's a lunatic when he's at Michigan anyway. But I mean,
okay. So anything else we want to go over NHL?
The
only reason I say that is because we got to get, dude. We got Julio, and we got the venues, and I know I got people waiting for the venues, and I got to get the venues on soon.
Settle down, bro.
No settling. I'm nuts.
No, I mean I think it's really about it. I mean,
we're gonna have more NHL obviously every week.
Yeah, we're talking about every week now. The big watch is going to be is Ovi's a free agent, so that is going to be.
Does he leave Washington?
What?
Does he leave Washington?
I don't think so, but.
Jamie's back there saying, "Yeah."
I never thought Tom Brady.
Said, write a check,
either.
bro.
Where do you think he's going then, Jamie?
Jamie's
very few teams. Yeah.
Oh, come on! You can't say nothing. Come on.
I think it's going to boil down to Washington has a very good roster. I don't think he leaves Washington for monetary reasons. I think if he leaves there, it's going for.
PD is correct. Flyers suck.
Facts.
It's so crazy because we thought at the beginning of this year,
listen,
bro, COVID hit that team, and that team is different.
They were different. They started the year just how I thought they were going to be, and then COVID hit, and they never recovered.
Nope,
never recovered. The young kids, I don't know what other teams did, but for some reason, the young kids on the Flyers did not handle the quarantine well. I don't know. That's going to be very interesting too because you're going to have the expansion draft coming up, and I'm very curious to see who they protect and who they don't. That will definitely be a topic when they release all those lists once the playoffs are over.
Oh, PD, stop it. We have 36 venues. All right, do me a favor. You tell me right now before we have the venues listed what you think the best venue is. I just want to see what he says.
Please be mindful. It has to be active.
Active venue too. Okay. Let's get into Julio.
Okay.
Julio Jones, dude.
Biggest Julio fanboy
One of the
ever.
best pieces of television was watching Shannon Sharp call this guy on air, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm out of there, dude. I'm done." How amazing was that? Like, you never get that.
I bet it probably felt even better for you guys when he said, "Oh no, I'm not playing for the Cowboys." He said,
"No, I want to
win.
win. I want to win. I ain't playing for Dallas."
Jerry Jones probably killed a small baby when that happened, but
They already got like 55 receivers.
they can't. Listen, here's the thing. I mean, I know we're probably going to break it down here in a second, but there's a very few places he can go. So it's going to be interesting. I mean,
He said the Roman Coliseum.
see, the reason I said what I said is because he mentioned that to me at the field the other night, and I said that's a great point, but I said we're doing active.
Yeah.
If we were doing all time like stuff, you can't beat it.
He goes,
Like,
"Oh, my bad. The Roman Coliseum."
yeah.
More
Like,
people died there than
Yeah. Hey, can't say it was historic or it wasn't entertaining. I'll tell you that much.
I guess.
Are you not entertained?
No.
See,
not.
I mean, that's why I said
Grieving the
active.
loss of my friend.
Sorry, just got beheaded.
All right. So, Julio, sorry.
Listen, I think it really boils down to 4 or 5 teams, and I think Atlanta is one of them still. I don't think Atlanta is going to give them away. I don't.
I don't think so either.
So I don't think I think it's going to kind of be like a lot like the Aaron Rodgers thing. I think if they don't get exactly what they want, he's been
They're
there.
asking for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not getting Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but we're not getting into Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
That what they're asking for him is ludicrous. I mean, the Julio asking price is obviously not as big, but listen, he's a top 5 wide receiver, however you want to cut it. If he's healthy, he's 1 or 2. He can do everything.
He was 1 or 2. He's not even the best receiver on Atlanta right now.
That's not true.
He's not. Calvin Ridley was better last year. I called it before last year.
He
Because
also
Julio
wasn't
gets
playing.
triple covered.
Julio has been hurt every year the last 3
Listen,
years, bro.
you can argue his health, and that's fine if you want, but it's
Right.
also because how physical he is. Calvin Ridley's also doing whatever he wants to do because Julio Jones still gets triple covered every goddamn play.
Calvin Ridley had better games than Julio didn't play. Period. He did.
I would take Julio Jones.
I wouldn't.
In a heartbeat.
For
I would also
next
take
year,
Julio
I would take
Jones.
Calvin Ridley over Julio Jones.
I think that's
depending on situation. If they're both in
Insanity.
Atlanta, I would take statistically. I'd take Calvin Ridley.
if they're both in Atlanta. Atlanta's going to stink next year. If I'm trying to win a championship, give me Julio all day
Offensively,
long.
why are they going to stink?
It's not. I'm just saying in general, they're going to stink.
Why?
What do you mean? Why?
Kyle
They
Pitts,
stunk.
Calvin Ridley.
They stunk
Julio
last.
Jones?
They stunk last year.
They've
They got a running back. I don't know.
They've been good.
Different coach.
They've been good the last 3 years when they've had both of them.
I don't know, bro. You get all those weapons with Matt Ryan and
Matt Ryan's had all those
you've had
weapons.
them all. That's the one thing.
can't have Kyle Pitts
Didn't have Kyle Pitts. You are adding that, but you're going to subtract Julio.
Yeah.
if he leaves.
He's out of there.
Okay, so the question would be, let's get through this quick.
All right.
Where does he go? Where do you think he goes? And where do you think he should go?
So it's best fit versus where you think he ends up.
Correct.
Okay.
I think he goes to New England. I just think that the friendship, it seems like, and the reports already came out that he wants to either go to Tennessee or go to New England.
That's silly. Stupid reports.
I know he is like great friends with Cam Newton. New England is really trying to bolster their roster. I would actually like seeing Julio. Actually, I take that back. I wouldn't like seeing him in New England. I don't like New England at all. But I think New England will be a good fit for him. I think that's where he's going to go. I think the best fit for him, though, if you want to mend all the broken bridges for Aaron Rodgers, you get him a weapon, you get him Julio Jones and say, hey, if you can't win with this, we're cutting you next year anyway, so you don't even have to worry about getting traded, and we're going to go from there.
He can't go to Green Bay. They can't afford him.
They can't, especially after they sign Aaron Jones to like a $12 million
Yeah.
deal.
So if he goes to Green Bay, they are absolutely getting rid of pieces there. Like they are cutting payroll somewhere drastically.
Hey, you figured it out to get Julio Jones.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Maybe Julio 3 years ago.
Julio for one season, I'll take my chances with him.
Whatever to make Diva happy, whatever you got to do.
All right, so
Whatever to win a Super Bowl.
Devontae Adams and Julio would be sick.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell you do. Leave Aaron Jones in the backfield. I mean,
Just wait 3 weeks and Julio will have a hamstring issue. You don't have to worry about it.
Maybe just sit him out until the NFC Championship game.
That's the way to do it. There you go.
I also think, I mean, he's played through stuff before, and I also think he takes time off just because he's like, all right,
we suck.
we're 5 and 10.
I'm
That's
not
fair.
about to rip
That's
my
fair.
hamstring off the bone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
To play for this bullshit team
That's fair. That's
gives-
a fair point.
that gives up
But that's
42
also saying
points
he's a
every
quitter.
game. He's not a quitter.
Yeah, you play for a terrible team.
I mean, if he doesn't
How many
play,
times have we talked about people like taking care of themselves on the show, and like we always like go to like the players? That's no different. It's no
I'm
different.
just saying,
Yeah.
if you want to go
bro,
that route,
you're gonna find I was a huge Julio fan. Let me tell you something right now. That 28-3 game and that catch he made in that Super Bowl,
unbelievable. We talked about that a couple days ago.
dude, that makes me sick how they lost that Super Bowl. He just deserves to have a Super Bowl. I'll tell you right now, and if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, I apologize because this is going to be ugly. Kyle Shanahan cost you a Super Bowl. And I love Kyle Shanahan, big Kyle Shanahan fan, cost you a Super Bowl.
100%.
Julio Jones catches that ball at the 28-yard line with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Run.
You can kneel the ball 3 times, kick a
Kick
field goal.
goal, and it's over. It's over.
What are we doing?
It's over.
They ran the ball, lost 2 yards. They ran the ball out of a 3-wide receiver set, which drives me nuts. Then they go to pass and they get a holding play. Then he takes a sack. What are we doing?
Wasn't
That
there an almost fumble in there somewhere
Yeah,
too?
the sack.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean, whatever.
But, okay, let's continue on to Julio. Give me your best fit and give me where you think he goes.
His best fits. I mean, I think New England would be a great fit for him. Obviously, with McDaniels, I think the problem you have with New England is, I mean, I know you're in the same boat with me as this. I don't know how you would trust Cam to get him the ball.
Correct. That's the point.
But I also don't think if he wants to go there because of Cam, he's got what 3 years left on his deal. Cam might start this year. He's not starting after this year. He's on a 1-year deal. He's not coming back. They drafted Mac Jones. So if you're going there, you know you're going there to play with Mac Jones for 2 out of the next 3 years. So if you're confident with doing that, you want to keep pushing that trade to happen. I guess you could do that, but Cam is not going to be there next year.
I always thought Julio was a smart guy. The 2 destinations he gave are not smart. But God,
I think Tennessee.
I don't think
Tennessee's not a bad spot at
yeah,
all.
I don't think it's a bad spot.
give me a minute. I'll explain.
I know what you're going to say, and you're 100% right. They are 100% a run-first team. But if you now have A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on the outside, you could throw the ball more.
A year's supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. Shout out, Buddy Lucas.
I think Tennessee's one of the teams that can afford them. I don't think I think Tennessee is missing one of their first in the next couple of years. So if they give up next year's first, I think they go 2 years in a row with not having one. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know if the Colts are going to come off a first-round pick.
Nobody's giving Julio first.
Nobody's
giving Julio
first.
Especially now knowing that he's leaving.
Nope, nobody's giving him a first.
Then I think he's going to be in Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's still tied for first odds-wise where he plays next year.
Yep.
I think the Colts would be a great fit. Obviously, they can afford him.
Give me your 2. Where do you think he goes? And where, you could say Atlanta if you think he stays.
I think he's staying in Atlanta.
Okay, now where do you think the best fit is?
I would either go with the Colts, and I think the Jaguars is a good fit. I would love to see him go there. It's a little.
He's too old to risk his career on a rookie quarterback. I agree with you, though.
Yeah, but I mean, with the pieces they have, and I think they have the package they could send back that would entice Atlanta.
The New England Patriots spent way too much money in free agency.
Agreed.
Especially on the receiver position, for them to trade for. It's not happening.
I don't disagree with you.
I think the Titans is where he goes.
That's dirty, man.
I think the Titans is where he goes. Plays opposite of A.J. Brown. They have a spot. They have money.
A.J. Brown already said he's not giving up his number, though. You got to figure out a new number.
I'm not worried about that. And I think the best spot.
In college too.
I think the best spot for him would be on that turf in Indy. I do. I just think it would be.
Listen, I'm here for it. I bet you.
I think that's the best spot for him.
I pray to God that's where he ends up.
I know you.
I think the best spot's Indy, and I think he goes to Tennessee. And it's funny because those 2 teams can clamor in that same division.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Colts and listen, the Colts have their salary cap is set up so well.
I know.
If they really do give up a first to get them, it's really not killing them.
They don't have a first.
What, for next year?
Yep, they don't. It's going to be Carson Wentz.
They might.
They can't give up their fourth.
They can't trade it.
They can't trade it.
Yeah, because it's conditional. I mean, they could give up something else and, try to sweeten the
pot. Maybe 2023 first.
I guess. Well, technically, they wouldn't be able to give up their first or their second then, right? Because it depends on his games.
They can conditional it. They can conditional the pick. That's it. That's all they can do.
Yeah, so they could say, like, we'll give you next year's 2 and something else, but then if the pick they were supposed to give the Eagles ends up being a 2, then it'll be a 2023, or they would have to be a 1.
Correct.
So
my man, Mr. Brister on the line said the Chargers, and I think the Chargers are a very viable spot. I just don't know. I don't know.
My whole thing is that if Julio really wants to win, I don't see him going to a quarterback that's not proven.
How's Justin Herbert not proven?
I mean, one rookie
he's a rookie. He's a second-year player now. I don't think.
Rookie of the year.
I just think with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen there, I just don't.
Do you
know
think the
if they're
Chargers
gonna
can win
do
the Super Bowl next year?
No.
That's what I mean. That's my point.
that. All right. So now we're saying if you can't win the Super Bowl next year,
Speedy.
so Baker Mayfield's a proven quarterback now.
I'm not saying.
geez,
I'm
that's
not
a good
saying
call.
Baker's proven. No,
That's
I'm
a
not saying
solid
that.
call.
Did I say Cleveland? Did I say Julio go to Cleveland?
Cleveland is on everybody's short
Did
list.
I say Julio should go to
You
Cleveland?
brought the point. You said if you can't win a Super Bowl, you're not a proven quarterback. That's what you just said.
Dude, I think Cleveland can win the Super Bowl next year.
So Baker's a proven quarterback.
I didn't say that.
That's what you're saying.
That's not what I said.
That's
though.
what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say it.
You're backtracking.
I didn't say it.
Love you. You're backtracking.
I did not say that. I said, can they win the
These
Super
two
Bowl
are
this
so
year?
cute when they argue. Because they agree so much, but when they argue, I love you, but you really did say that, okay?
You did.
I literally said.
You said could San Diego win the
so
Super Bowl
Los
next
Angeles.
year?
I said
Los
Los
Angeles.
Angeles.
So I said no. So
I
you're
love
like, all right,
being
so
the
he's not
rose
proven.
between two thorns.
So if you can't win the Super Bowl next year, you're not a proven quarterback?
That's not what I'm saying. If you can't win the Super Bowl next year, I don't think Julio's not going to that place. I'm saying yes, Justin Herbert did have a great rookie year. Baker Mayfield had a good rookie year. He was also rookie of the year. Point is, that still doesn't make you proven. 1 year doesn't make you proven.
Okay,
All right, so Baker's not proven then.
guys, 10:05.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Julio talks. We gotta get done.
Let's go to Indy.
I need to pull up the stadium list because I've been so excited. Greatest venue of all time. I knocked over the water. Don't even look at it. Don't worry about it. It's just water. Guys,
If we blow
greatest
up,
venue of all time. We're going to do,
Mike, I hope you have flood protection.
yeah, the cap's on. You're good. But greatest venue of all time. Throw up the list. You guys at home on Facebook are going to see it. We'll read it out. I can't wait to get into this. So we're just going to do the left side, just a side right here, okay? We'll reveal the side on the right next week.
how are we gonna do the playing games?
We're just doing the playing games on that side then, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're just do one side. So, Shally, I love you doing the introductions, but keep them a little bit shorter than normal. We're like kind of running against the clock. But let's get into the first matchup: the Pauley Pavilion versus Augusta National.
All right, so Pauley Pavilion is where UCLA plays basketball. Obviously, if you're a history fan of college basketball, UCLA won 10 in a row, I think. That was their home court. I think they were unbeaten there for 8 or 9 years in a row, and they finally lost a game to some team they shouldn't have. I can't remember who it was, but that's where UCLA plays basketball. They still play there. Augusta National is the prettiest golf course on the planet. It's where they hold the Masters every year. Again, if you're familiar with golf at all, you know what Augusta National is. It's the course that everybody would pretty much give up an arm or like to play.
Now, we didn't seed any of these. So, we didn't seed this. This is essentially just randomized because we didn't want it to be like what our opinions were. We all wanted to kind of have our own on the show.
Yep.
But this one's like a 116. Like it is. I'm sorry. The Pauley Pavilion is nice, but Augusta National in a landslide.
I don't know if it's a landslide, but I
It is.
I agree with you. Augusta wins, but I mean,
Yes.
Pauley Pavilion. I think you're discrediting Pauley Pavilion a little bit.
Yeah, and all their history there. I think
Yeah.
that has a lot to go into it. Like I understand, like if you want to say UCLA hasn't been good recently, then of course I'm gonna go with that. But UCLA has a lot of history. I mean, John Wooden teams being there, Kareem being there.
Guys, they're top 36 venues of all in the entire world. I'm not saying that they're bad. It's just Augusta National is just different.
I wouldn't argue that.
I wouldn't either.
Like don't make it like I'm just totally discrediting this Pauley Pavilion. I'm not.
You said landslide. I don't think
It
it's
is.
landslide. All right.
Augusta National, if I was seeding this, it would be a 1 seed.
I'm not arguing with you. There's no bigger fan of anybody on this show or listeing to this show of Augusta National than me. I'm just saying.
Eric told me he's a little bigger.
I'll tell you this.
He should be when he steals my status.
This is like
Wow, Eric Rosenblum.
just saying.
Augusta National is like Damian Lillard making first team.
Oh,
and
Correct.
Jesus.
Pauley Pavilion
Almost
is
went a
like
whole
Chris
show.
Paul making the second
geez,
team. The
stop
argument
it,
you
bro.
want
We're
to
not
make
getting
for
into
it.
this.
It's as close as that.
We almost went a whole show.
Control.
Almost went a whole
Knock
show.
it off. I'm not doing this right now. Throw the bracket back up. Round 2. Augusta National's winning. You can click that one right in there and throw the
Okay.
bracket up.
Augusta
We got next.
National.
Bang, bang, bang. Augusta National. 1, 2, 3.
Augusta National might win the whole thing.
Good.
Could be.
Okay.
They'll be there at the end.
This is to me, it's another easy one. Even though it's a great. All right, first of all,
All right, so
I'll announce this one. I got this one. We'll
right,
go back and forth. All three of us do it.
you said I was going to do it.
All right, you do it.
All right. I was going to give you a shout out. Because I know that's why you wanted to do this one. I overlooked Howard J. Lamont Stadium. Gene is actually the one that caught it and made us put it in the bracket. So all props to Gene for that one. Gene was going to toot his own horn. That's why he wanted to introduce this one. So if you're not familiar, Howard J. Lamont is in Williamsport where they play the Little League World Series.
They got a shitty draw, though.
Really shitty draw. It's
really
a really
shitty draw
for them. Because they're going up against Lambeau Field. It's where Aaron Rodgers, the diva, currently plays. They've actually played Super Bowls on that field. So it's a shitty draw because the heart of this wants me to pick Howard J. Lamont.
Yes.
But if you're going with a brain, it's just Lambeau.
Lambeau is going with a brain.
Lambeau would be another number one.
If you don't mind leaving that up the whole time, so that people at home can follow along if they're not. But
Mike, Jesus.
So, I all right. Look, guys, and this leads to a ridiculous second round matchup of Lambeau versus Augusta. That's insane.
Blowing up brackets.
But this is why you randomize it. You have great matchups early. It doesn't matter, and there's not seeded. But Lambeau Field is the winner here. And I hate saying that because Williamsport is the most beautiful Little League field. It's amazing watching that. Like, I get caught up in it.
Have you ever been there?
Yes.
Okay. For the Little League World Series?
No.
Okay.
Visited.
If you've never been there, no matter what, get tickets and go there. It is something, to some degree, it's kind of like Augusta, and it's like old school. Like hot dogs are $1.
Yep.
Like it is the way that town shuts down and caters to those kids.
Everything
and
shuts
everything.
down.
It is incredible. It is an incredible atmosphere to go and watch these little kids play baseball. If you've never been there and you're a sports fan, buy tickets and go.
100%.
We
should do a road trip.
I mean, I'm down.
I'm down. We could do a remote from there.
I will go as far to say.
Throw Mike in there. Mike's coming out to Williamsport.
No, he's not.
For a $500 bonus, he's going to come out to Williamsport.
I'll go as far to say if you're a sports fan and you're somebody that likes to visit places and a bucket list thing, Williamsport is absolutely a bucket list venue.
I'm going Lambeau. What are you going?
I'm going Lambeau.
It's Lambeau.
All right, Rocket 3-0 Lambeau.
It's a shit draw.
Yeah, 100%. This is a fun one. Dean Smith Center.
It's not to me, but Dean Smith is Dean Dome, whatever you want to call it, Chapel Hill. It's where North Carolina plays basketball. It is not their original court, so this gets a little dicey. The Dean Dome was built, I'd say probably 10, 15 years ago. It's huge for a college arena. But I mean, you've had just great players there. Obviously, you get the UNC Duke once a year. Still a lot of history on that court. Notre Dame Stadium is obviously where Notre Dame plays football. They have a lot of old games that have been great there. They've had some great moments, when they've been ranked 1 or 2. Florida State game stands out to me all the time. Was Boston College there? Was that was a Notre Dame, I think. Was it? I don't remember. But this is tough. This is a very tough one.
It's a tough one. But I feel like that if we're not just putting our Notre Dame hate out there, Notre Dame's the winner here. I'm going Notre Dame Center.
Yeah. I'm also going Notre Dame. I mean, they have one of the most iconic signs.
100%. Rudy movie, bro.
Play like a champion. So I'm going. With
I hate Notre Dame, dude. I hate Notre Dame.
I don't hate Notre Dame, but they underachieve every single year, and I hate when they're the 3 or 4 ranked team in the country, and it's like, oh, is this year Notre Dame for real? And I'm like, I know they're frauds.
And the Dean Smith Center isn't even the best arena in the city that it's in.
They're not in the same city.
What area?
It's fair.
It's like 15 miles away.
Not that far. It's like 4.
My point being is
just saying, be accurate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Notre Dame.
I'm going USC just so my sister doesn't stab me, since Notre Dame already won, and I hate Notre Dame, but I mean, you can't really be mad if Notre Dame wins it.
Notre Dame's the winner here.
Got our first playing game.
Ooh,
love it. Go ahead, give us a breakdown. Oh Jesus!
Camp Nou, which is where Gene checks out because it's soccer. Camp Nou is where Barcelona plays. Barcelona FC, Messi. Listen, you're talking about like a titan of the soccer world. There's been some absolute battles on that pitch. Tiger Stadium is where LSU plays. Death Valley is what it's more commonly known as. Top 5 by far intimidating place to play for a college football player. That place, that is one of the places that literally like you can feel shaking when you're in it, is what people say. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tiger Stadium because soccer
you know
sucks.
nothing about soccer, exactly.
I am going to go Camp Nou and put all the pressure on you, Bill.
That's not that deep.
I mean, it kind of is.
It's not because Cameron Indoor is going to beat whoever you pick.
Mm.
And if it doesn't, you guys aren't. I just not paying attention.
If you say so.
So dramatic. I am gonna go.
I'm very dramatic. It's fine. Death Valley.
Go Camp Nou.
I knew how to. I should have said Camp Nou, and he would have won Death Valley.
No.
All right, Camp Nou's not the winner. It's not the winner. Hold on.
It's not the winner.
That's the play-in. We're going Camp Nou versus Cameron Indoor now.
I will tell you. People equate Death Valley with, I would say, the last 15 to 20 years. LSU had some really, really awful teams before then. Like nothing happened on the field. Like if you're going history of those fields, Camp Nou is clearly the winner. That's what I'm just explaining my pick.
All right, fair. Cameron Indoor versus Camp Nou. Cameron Indoor. I'll put my first one on there. Duke University. It's the best college venue in the entire country. Is for college basketball. I don't think it's that close. And I know you hate Duke. It's fine.
I don't know if it's best. I think it's intimidating. You got a bunch of
because the crazies,
the Cameron crazies, bro. This has to be
a bunch of rich white silver spoon babies that yell stuff that they shouldn't.
That's fair. I don't like Duke either, but that's not the point.
I mean, it's a better venue. It's fine.
Where you going with Control?
Camp Nou is very historic. They had, what was it, one of the Olympics, one of the Olympic finals or World Cup finals got played there.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Cameron Indoor. Slight
no 12-5
margin.
ups. No 12-5 ups.
Slight margin. I'm going to go Cameron Indoor.
All right, Cameron Indoor moves on. Okay, we're getting really good. This is a great one.
All right, so Arthur Ashe Stadium is at the USTA Tennis Center up in Flushing Meadows. Is where they hold the U.S. Open every year, every August. Again, kind of like Williamsport. If you're a sports fan and you've never been there, go get a night pass. I promise you will have more fun than you can imagine watching tennis with 18,000 people, half of which are drunk. If you get lucky, a match goes to 1 o'clock in the morning. It is absolute mayhem, and I promise you, you will have a blast. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is also known as the Swamp. University of Florida Gators play there. Very intimidating. The Chomp, very intimidating place to play. And again, I mean, Florida's been a good football team for a long time. They invented Gatorade there. And this is a good matchup.
Okay. Yeah, go first. PD, by the way, I just want to read his comment. He said, the pleasure is the best. Nothing scary about a bunch of spoiled white kids yelling dumbass chants.
I don't.
Awesome call, PD.
I don't
awesome
disagree.
Call.
That's kind of why I led in with what I led in with on that one. I'm going Arthur Ashe here.
Yeah, it's clear. I don't know why you said it was Arthur Ashe in a
you don't
landslide.
like the Swamp, though. You made that clear. I think you're
100%.
Swamp is.
I got a little homer.
Gene doesn't like college football stadiums.
I have a little. It's fair. That's fair. I think you put too many of them on there. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm a little homer here because I played at Arthur Ashe before.
Oh, that's right.
Arthur Ashe to me is. I think it's a no-brainer. Would you 3-0 it for me?
Arthur Ashe.
Thank you, sir. Now, to every baseball heads, this is amazing. I still think this is.
This is awful.
Why?
That one of these is going right now.
Yes. No.
All right. Listen, Camden Yards, Baltimore Orioles, great stadium. It was pretty much the first one of the rebirth of all the current stadiums that you're seeing being built in the last 10 years or still being built now. Old school but modern. Versus Wrigley Field, which is just iconic. I mean, this sucks. I love Camden Yards, but I don't see how Wrigley Field
said, damn, this ain't right.
Exactly. It's not. It's really not. It's Wrigley
Field. They're
Field.
so good.
It's Wrigley
There's
Field.
36 venues, guys, in the best in the world. These are the baseball stadiums. There's 3 of them on there. There's one more coming.
I agree. I would have liked to not see any baseball and baseball crime in the first round.
Hey, it's randomized. We can't cheat.
I get it. I know why we did it. It's Wrigley Field. I mean, that's just the answer.
Cottrell?
I'm going with Wrigley as well.
Yeah, we're going to sweep Wrigley.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing better than a 1 o'clock game at Wrigley.
If we seeded this, Wrigley was no worse than a 2. So,
yep. Well, 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Close. 2 or 3. There's so many good venues,
I don't know if
Bill.
There's 7 more that are better than that.
There might be.
All right.
I mean, you might have gave us the love just because you might argue that it's number 1 baseball. So you might have gave him a little bit of love there. Put him as a 2 seed just because.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Camden Yards is beautiful, by the way.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It's probably the most beautiful venue. Just Baltimore stinks. And like, if you want to talk about it, the best Baltimore games that you could watch there when the Yankees overtake the damn stadium.
Home run derby was fun.
It was.
Junior hitting balls off the warehouse.
Oh, that warehouse. Camden Yards is unbelievable. It's Wrigley, though. Wrigley, guys.
Just an awful
sweep.
The seating committee did them dirty.
But I don't think they did them dirty. I really don't. All right, so Anfield, God.
Anfield is where
Liverpool playing game.
Liverpool FC, English Premier League is where Liverpool plays soccer. Again, very historic stadium. You've watched soccer, you'll know why. But I mean, their motto of never walk alone and all that stuff.
Yep,
goes into a tragedy.
Can I go first on this one?
Yeah, you can.
He's gonna shock the world.
Carrier Dome is obviously where Syracuse plays basketball. They also play football in there. I think they play lacrosse in there too. Maybe, I'm not sure about that. But they play a lot of stuff indoor there. It's a huge like Astrodome type place. It's enormous. But they have to because you can't play a lot of stuff outdoors all year long at Syracuse because it's cold and miserable.
Anfield's by far my favorite soccer venue. It's not even close. Liverpool. I'm going Anfield here.
Are you a Liverpool fan?
No, I just love their venue. I love the
Mo
stadium.
Salah.
So I root for City. I told
Jesus Christ. All right.
We've already talked about this.
I don't remember that, but now I'm upset.
I told you. My buddy Fran is a City fan. Right. He got me into.
Gotcha. All right.
I am also going with Anfield on this one, although the Carrier Dome is probably one of my favorite college basketball venues.
Anfield is not the winner. They're just the winner to play in.
Anfield for me as well. I will say Carrier Dome probably is one of the best home field advantages about all these places, though. Teams always go there and just struggle because it's like playing basketball on a baseball field. It's enormous. It's weird. But it's Anfield for me.
Okay, so now it's Anfield versus Wembley Stadium.
Wembley.
Yeah. Why this is not close.
So no.
Wembley.
Wembley, they hold championships there all the time.
WWF. I'm just kidding.
I mean, listen,
everything.
Live
Football,
Live Aid, everything. There's just too much history there. And then there's soccer teams that have used it as their home stadiums before. Tottenham used it 2 years ago while their stadium was getting built. For me, it's Wembley.
Wembley Stadium.
Landslide.
Sweep. Wembley. Do me a favor real quick. We have one more, and it's a play-in game. Let's get through this one. I can't wait. The second round matchup is going to be amazing.
I know. So
I love it.
Bernabeu is where Real Madrid plays soccer. Another, again, just like Camp Nou, huge stadium, tons and tons of history. Real Madrid and Barcelona have been good literally forever. They're the two most successful Spanish soccer clubs. Assembly Hall is where the Hoosiers play of Indiana. Very intimidating place to play. It's a very oddly built venue, I guess you could say. It almost looks like a gym, like a high school gym on steroids, but it's so steep and goes like up to the roof. It's extremely loud. The ends are brick, so it just everything echoes. Obviously, back in the 70s and 80s, if you were Indiana Hoosiers fan, Bob Knight, that place was an absolute zoo. Nobody wanted to go there and play. So they do have some history there.
So these two playing games are playing for the right to lose to MSG.
Correct.
I'm going to go Assembly Hall.
I will go Bernabeu.
I am going Assembly Hall.
And then I'm going MSG over Assembly Hall. Okay. Madison Square Garden, we'll talk about that a little bit more each week. The bridge that they put in with the renovations at Madison Square Garden so you can watch the games from above the games is stupid. It is amazing. One of the coolest things they've ever put in a venue.
Do you know where they stole that from?
No, tell me.
Little Caesars Arena, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, it's funny you brought that up the other day, but they were the first ones to have it. They have a catwalk that goes all the way around the top of it, and you can sit up there and watch a hockey game. They have a bar up there and everything. It's awesome.
I'm going MSG. I think MSG is, the Mecca.
The Mecca.
One thing that New York got right in life.
I'll go into this later once it gets up like somebody that's like verse debatable, but I'm not as quite
like next week.
Yeah, probably. Well, it won't be next week. It'll be 2 weeks. But
yeah, 2 weeks. We're going to do another side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden.
Okay, so I just want to go over the second round matchups that we're going to run into in 2 weeks from now. No, don't scroll. Right, perfect.
There you go.
Augusta National versus Lambeau Field.
That's just sad.
Notre Dame Stadium versus Cameron Indoor.
That's easy.
Two of the greatest college areas, arenas, whatever. Arthur Ashe versus Wrigley. And Wembley Stadium versus Madison Square Garden. If you don't think we found the best venues, and we have a whole other side for you next week, which we're not going to show you this week. Tune in next week. We have a whole nother side. We're going to break down their side next week. Guys, this tournament is bonkers. Talk about this Premier League. Champions League.
Champions League final on Saturday.
Get it right.
It was a good segue.
Get it right.
Two Premier League teams in the final. That hasn't happened in a long time. You have Manchester City, your team, versus Chelsea. It should be a good game. I mean, they played each other, I think, about a month and a half ago. Chelsea actually won.
It was more recently. It was 3 weeks ago.
All right, yeah. I know Chelsea won 2-1.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a really great game. Man City is completely healthy. I know Chelsea's a little banged up. But, I mean, it's the last game of the year. So, I mean, whoever can go on the field and play is going to play.
Just going to go at Man City?
I think Man City they just have too much talent. Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling. And they're just better defensively. I would love to see Christian win because I think he becomes the first American starter to win one.
Real quick, Dante, I will send you the entire bracket to you specifically so you can see everyone that's on there. He said, he's asking, it's better. This team better be on the list. This.
Well, what did he say?
He was talking about. I scroll. Alizan. I don't know. It's soccer stadium.
It's not then.
Allianz, whatever.
It's not. I think I don't want to say Man City's going to outclass them. I just think Man City's the better team. I think if both teams play their potential, I think Man City wins. I like Man City like 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Man City definitely has the better roster. I don't think there's much debate about that. My whole thing with this matchup is this is a matchup of teams that are familiar with each other. Yep. So, like, that's what makes it interesting and fun because if you're familiar with your opponent at a certain point, especially in soccer, it almost doesn't matter who's more talented. It's just more so like about execution at that point. And I think that I'm going to be rooting for Chelsea. I will say that. I'm not going to say I was a Chelsea fan, but I did like the team, like when they had Diego Costa and they had Willian on the team. So I was following them a little bit then, and now they got Christian on the team. So, of course, I'm going to be rooting for him. I'm going to go Chelsea pulling off the slight upset here. I like 2-1, though. I do like that score.
I think both teams score for
I think
sure.
It goes into extra time. I don't think it goes into PKs. I think Chelsea scores in 15th minute of extra time.
Speaking of PKs, did you watch any of the Europa final today?
I haven't. I didn't watch any of it today.
Ooh, Villarreal versus Man U.
I saw like
they went to the
breakdown
11th round of PKs.
That's
when it's
insane.
Ended. It was wild. I was watching before I left. All right, Gene, we're done soccer. You can pay attention now.
Sorry, I was looking up the Knicks 1-9.
Sweet.
Looking up real stuff. Okay.
They're just gonna lose the next round anyway.
That's fine. I got Man City 3-1.
3-1.
I'm just taking a stab in the dark. Sounds like a plan. It's getting you. Got to be kidding me. I have some fun ones, but I'll go last. You want to go first, Control? You got
Nope.
a good one?
I don't want to go first.
You always go first.
But I don't want to this week.
He's thinking about it.
No, I got one.
Means you two are going to go
It
at it or
it
something.
shames me to do it, but
Oh, God. I know exactly what he's doing. I already know what he's doing. He wants to go last because he's not going last. He's going second.
I'm not going last.
All right. I mean, I'll go then. So make this weird. Mine for this week, I'm going to go with the NFL. Eugene Chung report came out this week. He used to be assistant coach for the Eagle, actually. I will say this. As many strides as the NFL would like to put out in public that they've made towards racial inequality, they haven't. They have a problem. And I think it's going to take something drastic like the NBA did with Donald Sterling for these guys to understand what they really want and what should be done. It's a crazy juxtaposition of what happened with Eugene Chung. He's of Chinese descent. He interviewed for a job, and he had somebody from a team which hasn't been released yet, but it's going to be an absolute firestorm because there's no way that's not going to come out. And I feel bad for whoever team that is because I think the NFL is going to come down hard on them, and they should. But he was pretty much told in an interview that he wasn't the right minority for the job, pretty much implying that the NFL wants these teams to hire African-American coaches, and that's the only minority they care about. This is hard to kind of digest and go through because I think everybody agrees that there's been black coaches that have been overlooked and not hired simply because they're African-American. So while you want to be happy that they're going after those coaches, you're still pretty much turning around doing the same thing to him because he's Chinese, saying, I don't care how qualified you are, we're just not going to hire you because it's not going to score us any points with the NFL. Somebody needs to do something. The majority of these owners are all rich white guys of these teams. All these teams worth billions of dollars. I really wish somebody, and it's got to start with Goodell, would really take a stance and say, if you guys don't start following the rules, following the Rooney Rule, for all minorities, not just African Americans, we're just going to take your team from you. We're going to make you sell it, just like the NBA did with Sterling. And then maybe some of these guys will wake up. It is a rampant problem. More of these stories keep coming out behind the scenes, and this stuff is still continuing. So for me, as usual, it's the NFL. You're racist. Whatever you have going on, fix it. It's enough is enough. Just fix it.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Cottrell?
Mine this week goes to somebody I've been lobbying for weeks now. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers gets my you got to be kidding me this week.
Are you mentioning from what I talked about the other day?
The interview that he had with Kenny Mayne, it just – I understand your frustration. I understand the Packers haven't done things the correct way. You can't go on national television and air out all of essentially the dirty laundry. I understand you didn't trash Jordan Love, which is I give you props for that, I guess, but you gotta know to be smarter than that. You can't go on there and say it's some of the things you said, especially when it comes to it's not about the Jordan Love pick. It's about the people and what is the process of everything. And basically was just saying that he likes Jordan Love as a player, but he does not like the fact that the Packers drafted him instead of addressing some of the other needs they had. And I get it. You're frustrated, but you cannot do that. You're still a Packer right now. They still, they're openly saying that they want you to come back. And now you got guys missing OTAs in unity with Aaron Rodgers. And I just feel like Aaron Rodgers could have handled this situation a lot differently. I'm completely with him, but don't go on national television upplaying your situation to try and get sympathy votes from people. So for me, Aaron Rodgers this week.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
All right, guys, I have a list. I have to go through a couple of them here. I'm sorry. First off, I want to shout out Ed Conroy, who is Ed Conray, whatever. He's been fire on the wire line, bro. Fire.
Eddie's my boy, dude.
He's awesome.
Good
Thank
dude.
you for the comments, brother.
Eddie's a dookie. He holds every record in the world for baseball, dude.
He was just talking about Cameron Indoor.
Yep.
I just want to shout him out. Second, this can't hit my you got to be kidding me, but I have to mention it. And it's we'll just say it's one of my you got to be kidding me. I got a few this week. What the Mets fans, you guys are a joke. All right, sorry, I'm sorry. The Mets fans on Twitter, you Twitter warriors, you nerds. Jordan Yamamoto stinks. He's not a good pitcher. He's never been a good pitcher. I don't know why you guys signed him thinking he'd be a good pitcher. He stinks, okay? Jordan Yamamoto had a bad start on Sunday. 4 innings, 5 earned runs. Not a great start, okay? Mets fans proceed to go on Twitter to bash not him, but his wife. Berated his wife on Twitter. Racial slurs. Disgusting what they did. So, give me one real quick for them. Sorry.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I just read something that we stuck our foot in our mouths again this evening.
About what?
As Sixers fans. Apparently Westbrook got hurt late in the game, and they were taking him down the tunnel. He was hurt, and apparently one of our dumbass fans dumped a whole bunch of stuff on his head. So, congratulations.
So, I was just talking about Mets fans and then Philly fans had to do that shit.
That's why we can never stop talking about freaking Santa Claus from 40 years ago.
Yep. Thanks, assholes. Second thing, this is a little bit more of a comic relief. LeBron James. In 1 week, He's died twice on the court. In 1 week, the man has died twice on the court. First,
He's got snipers.
Chris did too.
Chris is actually hurt.
Oh,
Difference.
Christ.
Is he?
He's a stinger, bro.
He
You
played.
think come on, dude, stop it.
He played game 1 and game 2. He's about the Kyler Murray hero.
LeBron James got poked in the eye by Draymond Green, laid on the ground for 80 seconds. 80 seconds. And it wasn't like a clear, like, jab in the eye poke. It was like, went up for the block a shot, and his finger touched his eye. I was seeing 3 hoops and all this bullshit. Laid on the ground for 80 seconds. The guy got hit in the face with a baseball, 94-mile-an-hour baseball, got up in 36 seconds. Okay. He got poked in the eye. It hurt. He laid on the ground. He wanted a flagrant. Okay. Fast forward to 3 nights later, he's playing the Phoenix Suns in the first round, and little Chris Paul, little 6'1" Chris Paul, boxed him out. And the guy fell down and flailed his arms and laid on the ground again. Oh, my arm. Come on, bro. Stop it, dude. Chris Paul couldn't hurt my arm, let alone yours. You're a 6'9" deer, 265 pounds, bro. He's not hurting your arm by boxing you out. I'm sorry. That was an app. LeBron James, your flopping is literally embarrassing for baseball or basketball. They've had Academy Awards and like showing his acting. It's a joke, dude. Stop doing it. 6'1" guys aren't breaking your arm. Draymond Green poking you out. You don't lay on the ground for 80 seconds. So for this week, LeBron James.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
You know how they stop that? They start fining people for it, like they said they were going to 2 years ago.
I wish they would.
But they don't have the ball.
No,
to
they
fine
do
LeBron
fine
James.
them. They just fine them $5,000. Like that matters to NBA players.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters monetarily, but when it's released publicly that you're getting fined for it, that the NBA thinks is excessive, then you kind of start getting into like the whole like, oh, like dude, like you're being a bitch, like that stuff matters. That's what matters to them, and they just don't do it enough. Like, listen, like all kidding aside, like he does it a lot.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm with you.
He should have been fined for like this last week alone was ridiculous.
I don't think that. So I will say he was definitely overboard both times, 100%.
Yeah.
Both times. The eye poke, I get it. It happens. You know, you're on the ground for a little bit, you wipe your eye. Like the eye drops on the bench, I'm like, okay, cool. I wouldn't lay on the ground for 80 seconds. I think that's completely overboard. I don't know if you fine people for that, though. That's the thing. Like,
it's different.
You find the stuff that he's done.
We can get into this.
The stuff that he's done, you fine him for it, 100%.
We can get into this another week.
He acted like he got shot.
Do you have final thoughts this week, Cottrell?
No, I mean, it's just exciting week to watch some more NBA playoff basketball.
Damn right. Bill, any final thoughts?
No, just, I mean, I'm sure you're going to go over it. Just remember, we're starting at 8:30 next week.
Yeah, that's 2 final thoughts. 1, 8:30 start next week. You've asked, we've listened. 8:30 to 10 p.m. starting next week, starting June fresh. Guys, like, download, share. We need your help. We need your help to grow. This is great content. I listen to this shit on the way home, and this is great content. We need more people to hear it, more people to see it. Like, download, share. I appreciate your support. Second, comes on before our show, Hungry for Hope. I got myself a T-shirt today. Great nonprofit, doing a lot of really good things at Toxic Radio. They got their own office. Their proceeds are going to charity. Great show. If you don't tune into it right before our show, 7 to 8, definitely catch it on the podcast version. Donnie, Tim, Yanni, those guys doing an awesome job. They're growing exponentially. They're talking to mayors, all that stuff. So shout out to Hungry for Hope. Shout out to Toxic Radio. 8:30 next week.
I do have one last thing.
Yes.
We will most likely be able to announce next week when our guest is coming on. And it
Nice.
will probably be in the next 2 weeks. So
Love it.
still not going to tell you who it is, but it is it's a big deal.
Yeah, 100% big deal.
100%.
So for that, this is show Larry Bird signing out with a 3.
You Kobe'd it.